And I know so many of those faces because of the 4 reprobates.
Yeah.
And so that's just the first item of gratitude. The second is how this gift of friendship that we sometimes give each other without expecting to, the way that that will continue to ripple. So as Fudd says, you know, of course Jim will live in our hearts and our minds forever. One of the things that I really honor about grieving is that when we very recently lost a friend, someone that we love, we're way more aware of our connectedness to one another, and we honor that more. And we honor too just the small little coincidences that happen, you know, all day long that make us realize it's just out of the body now, you know, which isn't the greatest apparatus anyway. And so Jim is very close. I'm sure all of you have been feeling him so closely these last few days. Songs that you hear. I've spent, when I spoke to Jim a couple days ago, I should have remembered that Wallace Stevens was his favorite poet from one of those very important debates on the front porch of the Hygeia. I mean, the things that we fight about on that, and which Wallace Stevens was the best. Fudd, you're so good at just throwing your hands up and getting on the bike and leaving. But when I was driving today, I had to drive up to Providence to, my little girl had an event at the State House, and she did much better than I did last January. She just played the bells in the rotunda and no one was there. But all day long today, because of our unusual weather, you know, the migratory patterns are off, as they will be for the rest of our lives. But the birds taking flight. And I thought I'd read 2 poems today. One of them is my own, and it's a poem that I wrote for a friend of ours that many of you also know, and her name is Emily Reeve. And Emily had such a beautiful connection here in Newport before she moved to Block Island. And this is a poem that I wrote the morning after she died, and it felt very fitting watching the birds as I was driving today. It's called Friday Morning. Today I saw a flock of birds take flight and shape all at once. If I had looked more closely, probably they were spelling your name. They jabbed high then low, and I knew you were dancing. Look at this, you called to me laughing, and I realized I hadn't heard that sound for months. A band of sparrows silently stitching the letters of your name across a clearing sky. But I wasn't watching. Instead, I reached for a pen and quickly wrote these words, Friday morning, down at the dock, around 8:30, and I know she is everywhere. Later today, or sometime tomorrow, when I am crying again, because of the way how in the end even the tea hurt your lips and the air hurt your skin, I will perhaps reread those lines and remind myself that you are free now. You are free and everywhere. And a second poem I thought I'd leave you with, there's no need to, a second poem I thought I'd leave you with is a poem by my favorite poet, and her name is Mary Oliver. And you know, one of the blessings I do think of Jim's passing, though it doesn't help any of it, is I don't think he had to suffer in great pain for a long time, which makes the parting a little more abrupt for the rest of us, but easier for him. This is called In Blackwater Woods. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon in fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To hold what is mortal, and to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go.
Thank you.